I'm going to install this. And the cool thing about this Talon grip is it is made for the M&P Pro line, and it is not going to cover this back part, because this back part is a lot more aggressive in its texture than the front. You can see that. You can see that pretty clearly right here, but that feels really nice. It's sort of like the Sig Sauer E2 grip, if you're more familiar with that and not as familiar with the M&P Pro series. But that's a really nice texture, so we don't need to cover that, nor would we want to. And actually, in the past, when I got my first M&P Pro, I had a full Talon for the M&P, and I actually trimmed off that part. But and then the folks at Talon said, well, you know, we do already make it like that. I was like, oh, okay. So that's why I ordered this time, and that's how it's going to fit. I always do a dry fit first. This one wraps around the front instead of wrapping around the back like a lot of them do. And there's nothing to tuck in. Pretty simple installation, really. So let's do it. Let's go through the steps. First step, clean the frame. Clean that grip. That's called the substrate. And we want to make sure that our substrate is nice and clean and oil-free. Okay, so the other thing should go without saying, but doesn't necessarily, is that your hands should be clean too. So make sure you've washed your hands before you do this. All right, so there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel the backer off of this, and in this case I'm just going to take the whole thing. Sometimes I'll do it in sections. I'll maybe cut it halfway or whatever, but this time I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm going to be all devil may care and just peel the entire backer off of this thing. I think it makes it easier to work with in this case. Now, again, I mentioned it's a front wrap, not a rear wrap, so we want to line it up this way, and the key to this is to line up that Smith & Wesson emblem or medallion there, because that's a good index for us. All right, so I'm just going to lay it there, and I'm going to wrap this around, and hopefully this one, look at that. Now this is probably the best time with the best example to answer a question or a comment that I see a lot about why should I spend, $18 or whatever on a Talon grip when I can just go out and buy the material. I could buy some skateboard tape, or I suppose you could find this rubberized material too if you looked around. Why should I spend $18 when I could just go buy the material and do it myself? Well, this is why. Because the folks at Talon have earned their money by creating these really, really good patterns that fit your pistol perfectly. You see that? I lined up this circle, wrapped it around it, it was perfect on this side. Yeah, if you can do that by yourself, by going out and picking out a square sheet of grip material and get out your scissors and X-Acto knife, you are better than me, I'll tell you that. And you have a lot more free time than I do. Okay. So, that's the end of that lecture. But seriously, that's an answer to a question I do see a lot. Why would I spend the money? Well, that's why. Okay. Now, this brings us to a very important part. This part is as important as the cleaning of the grip, and this is going to be the heating. So we're going to heat this thing up a couple times. That makes it nice and soft and pliable so that we can make sure it's got a really good adhesion. Okay. Nice and warm. Another question that I've had is, how long do I heat this? Because I'll edit this video rather than make you watch that. It's boring enough, right? Rather than make you watch me run a hairdryer over this thing for a couple minutes. But what I'll do is, so the question I've had is, how long should that be heated? And the answer I gave was just a minute or two. That's all I'll do. You just want it nice and warm, if not hot, to the touch. Uncomfortably warm, maybe. Get it nice and warm, and then what I'm doing is a patented, just an opinion, trademarked process here that I call smush. And you're just pressing it down. Different pistols obviously have different types of texture in their grip anyway. The M&P is relatively tame. Pay a lot of attention to your edges, because that's where it's going to want to peel first, obviously. Alright, I'm going to heat it one more time, and I think we're going to be good enough. Okay. Oh yeah, nice and hot. Alright, so I've heated it the second time, and I'm going to smush it again. Alright, let's make it look like a pistol again. There we go. The M&P Performance Center is shaping up. Got that small grip, fits my hand nice, feels very good. Got my rubber Talon on there. I got a holster on the way, should have it in a day or two. I will be ready to rock and roll. There it is.